Remember the line in the song American Pie, "The day the music died"? That's actually referring to a real-life event. On February 3rd, 1959, a tragic event unfolded. It was the day that rock and roll lost three of its brightest rising stars: Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and J.P. the Big Bopper Richardson, in a devastating plane crash just outside Clear Lake, Iowa. The accident not only shocked the world, but marked a turning point in American music history, cutting short the lives and careers of musicians who had already left an undeniable mark on the industry. The story begins with the Winter Dance Party Tour, a grueling string of concert dates through the American Midwest during one of the harshest winters on record. Poor planning and logistics meant the tour bus carrying the performers had broken heating, resulting in freezing conditions for everyone on board. At one point, a drummer was hospitalized for frostbite. Tired of the uncomfortable travel and eager for a rest, Buddy Holly made the decision to charter a small private plane to the next stop in Minnesota. The idea was to save time, get some rest, and do laundry before the next performance. The plane was piloted by Roger Peterson, a 21-year-old with limited experience flying in poor weather. Though skilled, Peter was not licensed to fly solely by instruments, which would prove critical on a night when snow and low visibility made visual flying nearly impossible. As the musicians boarded the plane after their performance at the Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, few could have imagined the danger ahead. There was some confusion, and even a coin toss for a seat on the flight. Ritchie Valens famously won his seat from guitarist Tommy Allsup in a flip, while J.P. Richardson took the place of Waylon Jennings, Holly's bassist, who gave up his seat due to illness. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft encountered poor weather conditions and crashed into a frozen cornfield just minutes from the airport. The impact killed all four men instantly. It wasn't until the next morning that the wreckage was found. Buddy Holly was only 22 years old, but had already revolutionized music with a string of influential hits like That'll Be the Day and Peggy Sue. His style, songwriting, and image laid the groundwork for generations of artists, including the Beatles. Ritchie Valens, just 17, had broken barriers as one of the first Mexican-American rock stars with hits like La Bamba and Donna. His career had barely begun, but his cultural significance and potential were enormous. J.P. Richardson, better known as the Big Bopper, was 28 and had achieved success with his catchy high-energy track, Chantilly Lace. He was also an early pioneer of music videos and radio programming. The crash shocked the nation. Rock and roll was still in its infancy, and losing three of its key figures in a single moment felt like an emotional gut punch to fans and fellow musicians alike. For many, it was the first time they realized that fame and success offered no protection from the tragic randomness of life. The music had given people joy, an escape, and a cultural movement, and suddenly its brightest voices had gone silent. The Civil Aeronautics Board conducted an investigation and concluded that the crash was caused by pilot error combined with weather conditions. Roger Peterson had attempted to fly in conditions beyond his training, and a critical misreading of his instruments led to fatal descent. In the decades that followed, the story of the crash became legend. Don McLean's 1971 American Pie immortalized it as "the day the music died," a phrase that has since become synonymous with the loss. Memorials have been erected near the crash site. The legacy of Buddy Holly, Ritchie Valens, and the Big Bopper lives on, not just through their recordings, but through the countless artists they influence and the fans who continue to celebrate their work. Buddy Holly's songwriting structure, use of harmony, and pioneering spirit influenced some of the biggest names in music. Valens opened doors for Latino musicians and proved that cultural heritage and rock and roll could coexist and thrive. The Big Bopper's blend of personality, humor, and innovation anticipated the future of multimedia entertainment. February 3, 1959 remains one of the most somber dates in music history. It was not just a plane crash, it was the loss of potential, of inspiration, of what could have been. But from that tragedy also came a powerful reminder of music's enduring strength. Though they left us far too soon, Holly, Valens, and Richardson each carved their names into the foundation of rock and roll. Their songs still play, their stories are still told, and their influence echoes across decades. The day rock and roll died was also the day it was solidified as a cultural force, one worth mourning, remembering, and celebrating. Their deaths marked an end, but their music continues to speak for them, for the youth of that era, and for all those who have found meaning in rhythm, melody, and the timeless spirit of rock and roll. Like, comment, and subscribe for daily history content.